Ever wondered how some people go from $0 to millions so fast while others grind for years and just never get ahead? Well, it's clearly not by saving money, working harder, or even investing in stocks. Rich people play an entirely different game. They buy businesses that are already making money. Think about it. Warren Buffett, one of the richest men in the world, or was one of the richest men in the world for multiple decades. And what does he do? He buys businesses that are already set up, successful, and making money. Now, I've helped thousands of people to buy successful online businesses, and in this video, I want to share with you why it's the actual cheat code and how you can do it too. Firstly, rich people don't waste time building businesses from scratch. They buy income-producing assets that are already working. Why? Because buying a business gives them, one, instant cash flow and compounding returns. Secondly, instead of waiting years for a startup to become profitable. It's the cheat code. It's basically skipping the hardest level in the game and jumping straight to winning. Secondly, the wealthy don't use their own money to buy these businesses. They use other people's money. Yes, banks, investors, seller financing to acquire these businesses. This is called leverage. Now, imagine buying $1 million business with just $100,000 down, and that business is already making about $300,000 a year. See, online businesses, the ROI, roughly 25 to 35% return on investment per year. So let's just stick with the middle path there. And a $1 million business making $300,000 a year, and you buy it with $100,000 down, of a deposit, and you use finance for the rest. You've literally just created wealth without having to build anything from scratch. But don't be like most people. Most people start a business and burn through cash for many, many years. But when you buy an existing business, you get cash flow from day one, which is the systems, you get it from day one, the customers, the profits, it's already there. You can scale it faster as well than if you were starting from zero, because you've got the economy of scale happening in your favor. Also, think about it. You've got product market fit. That is the hardest part about starting a business, is finding a product that people will part with their cash to actually acquire. But when you buy a business, you have people that have proven they like this product, that they're willing to pay money for it. Product market fit is hard to find. And once you have that, then you have your systems, your team, and you scale that business from there. That's what you're buying. You're buying a business that has found product market fit with team and systems to help scale the business. And you can optimize that team and systems and marketing strategies to scale the business even faster. Now, I am also going to tell you a hard truth that you're probably not going to want to hear if you're an employee. I know this because I was a plumber and I hated knowing my income was tied to many hours, or all the hours that I worked with, right? But what truly separates the rich from everyone else is they don't trade their time for money. You've heard this before. They trade their money for assets that make more money, right? You've heard this before as well. Their money will make them money. They use their money to make money. And how they do that is that money, they buy assets with that to make them more money. And when you buy a business, you don't just get an income. You get an appreciating asset that you can sell for 3 times more, 5 times more, even 10 times more that you paid for it if you're scaling it over multiple years. Now, once this sinks in, working for a wage or an hourly rate needs to become a thing of the past for you. And don't worry, I understand it can be a daunting step when we hear these things of how do I get my money to work for me, and I want to get into this market as soon as possible. Don't rush into it. There's a way that you can get started methodically and the right way. Okay, so let's talk through the simple steps. And I can help you with this. I have an educational platform, buyingonlinebusiness.com. We teach people to do this. We've got courses, we've got training, we've got coaching, everything that you need to be able to help you with this. But let's go through these steps. Number 1, you want to find the business that is already profitable. You don't want to go away and look for a business that is declining, or it's slowly stable and then declining. You don't want to look for a business that is depreciating over time. A lot of people will tell you you can buy a business with no money down and that, the business is great. But the reality is, if you're buying a business for no money down, there's a reason the seller is selling it for little to no money, is because the business is falling apart and it's a liability. So understand that. You first want to find a business that's already profitable and doing well. Secondly, once you have that, you can use leverage. And the better the business is, the more profitable it is, the easier it is to get leverage, right? You can use an SBA loan, SBA 7A loan. It's a government-backed loan, or a US government-backed loan. If you're not in the States, there are other options for business loans, or you can use seller financing as well as SBA loans as well. So you can use a portion of the deal, you can have the seller finance For example, maybe you have $1 million business, you put $50,000, or say you put $100,000 down. So you've got maybe $900K in financing for the rest of the loan, but maybe you ask the seller to finance a portion or an earnout, and they might do 10% seller financing for the $1 million deal. So you've got $200K there, right? You've got $100K from your deposit. You got $100K that is seller financed with the seller. And then you got the $800K, which is the remaining, which is financed through maybe an SBA loan or a business loan. Another way that you can do this is you can use leverage from investors. Okay, so maybe you could put a little bit of your own money in. Investors like to see skin in the game, and then you can finance the rest through a private investor. These could be friends or family or people that you have acquaintances with, or you could raise the money. Okay, so find a business. The better the business is, the more profitable it is, the easier it is to get leverage and investors, and also seller financing as well. Third thing you need to do is improve it. Once you've acquired the business, then you basically want to optimize the business to reduce unnecessary costs, and then put that money, those reserved costs that you saved money on, put that back into efforts that are growing the business to increase revenue. So you're not decreasing the costs completely. You're just reverting those resources into things that are producing a better result. Yes, you could cut the costs and put money on the table, but you've just bought this business. You probably want to give it a bit more lifeblood and scale it the smart way. So that's the first 3 steps. The last steps is you can either hold the business for cash flow or sell it for a great multiple. So as you scale this business, you don't want to just put more and more work in yourself, right? We're talking about not trading your time for money. You can hire contractors to do the work and run systems and operate the business for you. And then you're going to be in a place to be empowered to sell the business, versus if you try to grow the business and you're doing all the work, it's going to feel like a job and you're going to feel bogged down. And yes, you will be tied to what it feels like an hourly rate, and the business won't be as fun to manage. There's always opportunity for infinite growth. And the best way to do this is to make sure you've got great people on your team that can help you grow this business. People that are smarter than you at, say, marketing, people that are smarter than you at, say, operating, customer service, things like that, and pay them a good wage and they'll do better work, which will provide you a better result in your business. It's the opposite thinking of being in survival mode, which I've been in, and I've made these mistakes of try to cut costs, try to do the work myself, and trying to grow a business and take profits off the table so I can get my ROI back. I get it. You want to get your ROI back, but the longer you play this game for, the more time frame you give yourself, the less pressure and stress you have, and the better resources you can invest into and play a longer game, which is going to give you longer profits. Now, what's not so simple about this whole thing, right? Like, I can break it down those 4 steps: is find a great profitable business, use leverage, buy it. Third, improve it, and then you can hold it or scale it, or hold it or sell it, sorry. What's not so simple is being patient. Like I mentioned, you want to take your time. You want to do the right thing, and getting professional help to do this is so critical and so important, especially in the acquisition part. You don't want to go away and buy a lemon. So as you can see, buying businesses is the wealth building strategy the rich use every single day. And if you're not doing it, yes, you're missing out on the biggest shortcut to financial independence. Word of warning though, this is absolutely not for everyone. Unfortunately, not everyone has what it takes to be super duper wealthy. And even you don't need to be super wealthy. You can buy a business under the $1 million range. You can buy business for 100K up to 200K. You can buy business for $50,000, but it is not for everyone. And, if buying the businesses was for everyone, if that was the case, not everybody would be wealthy. There wouldn't be a wealth problem, So what you do need to be able to buy businesses is emotional fortitude, to stay the course through the fun parts of an acquisition. We're talking about not getting close to buying something and the deal falling through. We're talking about looking at so many deals and them not being right, and getting frustrated that you feel like you can't find the business that you need to buy, the right business. They are out there. You need to be patient. And then also, going through getting financing, maybe getting rejected, maybe having your offers rejected from sellers, missing out on businesses because there are other buyers, all these tricky things through an acquisition. You need to have the emotional fortitude to stay patient and stay the course. You can do this. What stuffs a lot of people up is giving yourself a time frame of I need to buy a business in the next 3 months or the next 2 months. It can take people, 6 months, a year, sometimes 2 years to buy businesses. I've interviewed people on my podcast, the Buying Online Business podcast, check it out, that have taken up to 2 years or more to find the right business for them. And they just waited patiently. When they found the right one, they executed, and it was definitely worth the wait. And I would say that for you as well. It is worth waiting for the right business. Now, the willingness to invest in yourself is another one as well, is you need to invest in yourself and the business, especially when things aren't doing great. That's the most critical time. So, for example, where the business starts to be a little less profitable, or you're selling less products, or, the team's not working, you don't just, walk away or remove yourself from the business. Lean into those tough parts, right? The obstacle is the way. And when you overcome those challenges, greater things are going to happen. If you start to walk away or take a little bit of energy away from those tough things, that's not good at all. You need to be putting more energy into the business when things aren't doing great. And the people that do this really well, they don't have an outlook to just buy one business and have it for a little while. The really rich join this game for decades, 10, 20, 30 years plus. They buy a great business, they grow it, maybe they keep it in their portfolio. If not, they sell it, take money off the table and buy another business, maybe a bigger one. They want to win over the long term, and they're setting themselves up to win because time restrictions aren't an issue for them, right? They're not trying to do this in a short period of time, like I mentioned before. So if that's how you want to approach your wealth journey, buying a business is absolutely for you. I teach people how they can do it themselves, right? Like I mentioned before, and that's for people pretty much under the $1 million price range, through the courses and training and the coaching, that sort of stuff. But if you're acquiring something, with finance for, over $1 million, you should hire an advisor who can do all of this for you. And I do this for people as well. I help people acquire the businesses. So you can hit me up on LinkedIn. I go away and find the business for people, or I help them get finance first, find the business, go through negotiations, acquire, post-settlement, support and all that sort of stuff. So you can hit me up on LinkedIn, or, I do suggest checking out the Buying Online Business community that helps take the guesswork out of buying a business. And also, if you want something for free right now, just get my due diligence framework. It's helped people save millions of dollars and make millions of dollars. It's my framework that I use and my clients use to buy businesses. And it's basically a checklist of things you need to be asking to get data from the business to ensure it's a good investment or not. So get that out at buyingonlinebusinesses.com/free resources. Hope you enjoyed the vid, and I'll see you on the next one.